I also want to draw people's attention to our GTDQ assessment, which I think would be very useful for people to experience right here on the front end if you haven't done that already. Marion, why don't you say a few words about that assessment and a little coaching for folks about using it?
Well, the GTDQ is just 20 questions. It's really based on looking at control and perspective. So I encourage each one of you to take it. It'll give you just a point in time of where you are now before you begin the program, and we'd like to share with you a little bit more about what the matrix is.
Yeah, that assessment came out of us really coming to the understanding that this whole process of getting into the productive experience has to do with two different dynamics. One is getting control and one is getting perspective. In other words, there's probably no need to take a GTD seminar or to implement any of this if you're always in control and you always have the appropriate perspective. But I doubt if that's true for any of us. I lose control and lose perspective many times a day. So the assessment, by the way, is not something that's going to tell you what kind of personality you have, or similar to many of the other kind of assessments that people are maybe familiar with, like the DISC model or Myers-Briggs. What this assessment really is very situational. It's like right now, how in control am I feeling, and am I in the appropriate place with the right perspective on the right horizons? So these questions were just designed to tap into that a little bit. Certainly nothing in stone here, but it's sometimes a useful self-reflective tool to tell us where we are. If you think about those two things, control and perspective, and if you put them in a matrix where you had 2 by 2, so on the left-hand side there's no control or low control, on the high side, on the right-hand side you have high control, and then map that against perspective where you have low perspective on the bottom and high perspective on the top. If you can visualize that, you'll certainly see that if you get to the assessment on the website. But imagine that if I was in the lower left-hand quadrant, I have no control and no perspective. Well, that's, you're sort of in victim mode there. You're somewhat driven around by latest and loudest, and that's not a bad place. I mean, I get there often. Oftentimes I'm being highly creative and my structures need to be redone, and I haven't done that yet. So, I'm in sort of catch-up mode. So sometimes that's the back end of being highly productive, is then we have to go catch up because now I'm out of control and out of perspective. So again, there's no right or wrong about this. It just kind of tells us right now situationally which one of those may be the hot buttons and where we have some improvement opportunities.